Hey, welcome. Listen, if you're here, chances are you're in the middle of a really tough but super important decision, figuring out the right care for an aging parent or loved one. It's a complicated journey, for sure. So in the next few minutes, we're going to map out the two main roads you can take, assisted living and home care, to help you make a choice you can feel good about.
And it really all boils down to this one big question, right? Assisted living or home care? Should they move into a community built to support them, or is staying in the comfort and familiarity of their own home the right way to go? That's the core dilemma we're going to unpack together.
And look, if this whole thing feels just overwhelming, you are absolutely not alone. This quote really hits the nail on the head. It's a huge decision, mixing together feelings, finances, and this deep, deep desire to just do the right thing. It's supposed to feel tough.
Okay, so let's try to reframe this a little. Think of it less as a problem you have to solve and more like a journey. And what we're doing here is giving you a kind of roadmap, pointing out the key signs and landmarks to help you navigate it with a bit more confidence.
All right, first up, let's dive into that first path, the community option, otherwise known as assisted living. This is the choice where your loved one moves into a place that's specifically designed for seniors. So what is it really? Well, the best way to think about it is like a bridge. It's that space between living completely independently and needing full-on nursing home care. It's perfect for seniors who just need a little help with daily things, getting dressed, remembering medications, having meals prepared, but don't need round-the-clock medical supervision. It's all about support.
And here's what's so important to get. It's the sheer breadth of what's included. This is a whole package deal. You're not just paying for a room and some help. You're getting a whole lifestyle. The meals are taken care of, the cleaning is done, transportation is handled, and, this is huge, there's a built-in social life with planned activities and even things like on-site gyms or salons.
Okay, so let's talk trade-offs, because there are always trade-offs. On the pro side, you get this incredible peace of mind from 24/7 supervision. All the worries about home maintenance, gone. And that social component can be a game changer for fighting loneliness. But on the flip side, the care is shared, so it's not as one-on-one. You're living in a community, which means a little less privacy, and the quality of the experience can really depend on the staff. All right, now let's pivot and look at option number 2, the path that lets a loved one stay right where they're most comfortable, in the place they know and love, their own home. With home care, the whole idea is flipped on its head. You're not moving to the support comes to you. A professional caregiver physically comes into the home to provide that same kind of help with daily tasks, from personal care to just being a companion. And the key word here really is personalization. It is all about that one-on-one support that can be completely tailored to a person's specific routines and needs. A caregiver can help with anything from making lunch to driving to doctor's appointments. And this customized approach can be especially powerful for someone with a condition like dementia, where that familiarity of home is just so crucial.
And just like with assisted living, there are some pretty big trade-offs here. The biggest pro? It's obvious, right? The comfort of home plus that dedicated one-on-one care. But the cons are serious too. Social isolation can become a real problem. The house itself might need expensive modifications, like ramps or grad bars. The family usually ends up managing the caregivers, which is like a part-time job. And the big one, if you need 24/7 care, the cost can become absolutely staggering.
Okay, we've laid out the two paths. Now, let's get into the topic that, for most families, is the elephant in the room, the cost.
So let's start with a benchmark number. For assisted living, the national median cost, it's just shy of $5,000 a month. Now remember, that number typically bundles everything, housing, food, activities, and care, into one monthly bill. Okay, now let's look at home care, and the way it's priced is totally different. We're talking an hourly rate, with the national median hovering around $30 an hour. Now at first glance, that might seem way more affordable, but it all comes down to one single crucial factor. How many hours do you actually need? And that leads us to the real million-dollar question here, financially speaking. At what point does paying for home care by the hour actually become more expensive than that all-inclusive monthly fee for assisted living? Where is that tipping point? So check this out. This is where it all comes together. If your loved one only needs, say, 20 hours of care a week, that's about 3 hours a day, home care is way cheaper. We're talking about half the cost. But watch what happens as the needs go up. Once you hit about 40 hours a week, or roughly 6 hours a day, the cost of home care actually surpasses the cost of assisted living. And if you need more than that, the difference becomes massive.
But the numbers on a spreadsheet, they don't tell the whole story, do they?
That financial tipping point is huge, but it's not everything. There's a whole other set of costs that are much harder to see, but they are just as real. The human costs.
Because when family steps up to be the main caregivers, the personal cost, it can be absolutely immense. And we're not just talking about time. We're talking about careers getting derailed, promotions missed. We're talking about the physical toll of pure exhaustion and stress. The mental and emotional burnout is so real, the anxiety, the depression. It's missing out on time with your own kids or friends. These hidden costs are profound, and they have to be part of the conversation.
Okay, so we've walked through the options, we've looked at the finances, we've talked about those hidden costs. So, how do you actually use all this to make the right choice for your family? Well, it really boils down to asking yourselves 3 key questions. Step 1. Get really, truly honest about the level of care that's needed, not just for today, but for 6 months from now. Step 2. Look at the whole financial picture, that tipping point we talked about, but also factoring in those hidden costs to your own well-being. And finally, step 3, and this might be the most important, talk to your loved one. What do they want? Where will they feel the most comfortable, the most dignified, the most at peace?
At the end of the day, this decision isn't about finding some perfect, flawless solution, because that probably doesn't exist. It's about finding the best fit for your family right now. And as this quote says so beautifully, it's a profound act of love. No matter which path you choose, if you lead with honesty and compassion, you're making a decision that puts their safety, their dignity, and their quality of life first. And that's what truly matters.